The silence in our apartment used to be a comfort, a testament to years of shared understanding. Now it feels like a heavy blanket, suffocating me with every breath I take. My name is Alex. This is my story. A confession, I suppose, to a world that will judge but might also perhaps understand the labyrinth of human weakness. It began subtly, like a whisper carried on a gentle breeze, barely noticeable at first. Sarah and I had built a life that many envied. 10 years. A beautiful home, shared dreams, quiet evenings, laughter that felt like sunshine. We were solid, a rock, or so I believed. My love for her was undeniable, a steady flame that had warmed my existence for so long. Yet there was a growing emptiness, a quiet hum beneath the surface of our perfect life, a dissatisfaction I couldn't articulate, even to myself. It wasn't about Sarah. It was about me. A restlessness, a desire for something new, something sharp and thrilling that our comfortable routine no longer provided. Then came Jamie. Jamie entered my life like a sudden burst of vibrant color into a monochromatic world. We met at a work conference, a chance encounter in a crowded hotel lobby. Jamie had a way of looking at me, a genuine curiosity, an intensity that made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in years. We talked for hours that first evening, about everything and nothing. Our careers, our dreams, our shared love for obscure independent films. There was an immediate connection, an electric current that hummed between us, undeniable and intoxicating. I told myself it was harmless, just a friendship, a new colleague to connect with. I told myself Sarah would understand. But deep down, a tremor of unease started in my gut. I found myself thinking about Jamie more and more. Their witty remarks, their infectious laugh, the way their eyes crinkled at the corners when they smiled. The conference ended, but our conversations didn't. Emails turned into texts. Texts turned into late-night calls. Each interaction was a dangerous dance, a slow, deliberate step over an invisible line. The first time we crossed that line, it felt like falling from a great height, exhilarating and terrifying all at once. It was a rainy Tuesday. We were supposed to be working late on a project. One innocent drink turned into 2, then 3. The conversation flowed, raw and honest, exposing vulnerabilities I hadn't realized I possessed. Jamie listened with an intensity that made me feel like the most fascinating person in the room. Then, a touch, a hand on my arm, a lingering gaze. The world outside the dimly lit bar faded away. The kiss was like a jolt of electricity, shattering the carefully constructed walls I had built around my life. It was wrong. So utterly, fundamentally wrong. But in that moment it felt impossibly right. The guilt hit me immediately, a crushing wave that threatened to drown me. I went home to Sarah, who greeted me with a warm smile, oblivious, her trust unwavering. My heart ached with a pain so profound it was physical. How could I do this? How could I betray someone so pure, so loving? I swore to myself it would be a one-time mistake, a momentary lapse in judgment fueled by alcohol and a fleeting emotional vacuum. But the memory of Jamie's touch, the thrill of forbidden desire, lingered like a phantom limb. The thrill of it, the secret, the feeling of being desired in a new, urgent way was a powerful drug. It wasn't about love, not in the way I loved Sarah. It was about ego, about novelty, about escaping the mundane. It was selfish, cruel, and utterly captivating. The affair escalated, spiraling out of my control. Lunch breaks turned into clandestine evenings. lies became my second language. I fabricated stories about extra work, about late-night meetings, about sudden deadlines. Each lie was a knot tightening around my soul. My life became a meticulously choreographed performance. Two separate realities I desperately tried to keep from colliding. With Sarah, I was the devoted partner, the stable foundation. I overcompensated, showering her with gifts, planning romantic dinners, trying to quell the rising tide of guilt with acts of manufactured affection. But the hollowness remained, growing larger with each deception. I saw the questions in her eyes sometimes, a flicker of concern when I was distant or lost in thought. My heart would clench, convinced she knew, convinced my secret was written all over my face. With Jamie, I was someone else entirely, unburdened, daring, adventurous. Jamie offered a different kind of companionship, one steeped in excitement and the dangerous allure of the unknown. We talked about our future, a future I knew deep down could never truly exist, not without destroying everything I already had. I knew I was playing with fire, risking everything for fleeting moments of passion and validation. The constant fear of discovery was a relentless companion. Every phone notification sent a jolt of terror through me. Every unexpected question from Sarah sent my mind racing for a plausible lie. My sleep became restless, haunted by dreams of exposure and the devastating aftermath. I saw the pain in Sarah's eyes before it even happened, a premonition of the heartbreak I was inevitably going to cause. There were moments of clarity, brief windows where the fog of deceit would lift. I would look at Sarah, truly look at her, her kindness, her unwavering loyalty, her gentle spirit, and a wave of self-loathing would wash over me. I would promise myself it would end, that I would break it off with Jamie, confess everything, and try to mend what I had so carelessly broken. But then, a text from Jamie would arrive, a casual suggestion, a shared laugh, and the resolve would crumble. The addiction to the forbidden was too strong, the escape too tempting. The truth always finds a way. It's a relentless current that eventually erodes even the strongest dam. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation, no shouting, no thrown accusations. It was far quieter, far more devastating. A misplaced receipt, a forgotten text message on an unlocked phone, a single innocuous detail that unraveled the entire tapestry of my lies. Sarah found it. I don't know the exact moment, but I remember her standing in the doorway of our bedroom, her face pale, her eyes wide with a mixture of confusion and profound hurt. She held my phone, her hand trembling slightly. There was no need for words. The silence was deafening, filled with the echoes of my betrayal. The air left my lungs. My carefully constructed world imploded. The confession was a whisper, barely audible, choked with shame and regret. There was no justification I could offer, no explanation that would lessen the crushing weight of my actions. I watched as her world crumbled, saw the light die in her eyes, a light I had always relied on to guide me. The pain I had inflicted was visible, raw, and agonizing. It was a wound I had opened, and I knew with absolute certainty that it might never heal. Our beautiful home, once filled with love and laughter, became a mausoleum of broken promises. The comfort was replaced by an unbearable awkwardness, the shared understanding by a chasm of mistrust. The silence now is not comforting. It is the sound of our shared future disintegrating, piece by painful piece. Jamie eventually faded from my life. The thrill was gone, replaced by a lingering sense of emptiness and a heavy burden of responsibility. The escape I had sought had led me to a different kind of prison, one built of guilt and the bitter taste of regret. I am alone now, navigating the wreckage of my own making. I carry the weight of what I did, a constant reminder of my capacity for selfishness and cruelty. The person I was with, Sarah, the person I thought I was, is gone. In their place stands a fractured individual, haunted by the ghost of a perfect life I so carelessly destroyed. I am left with the echoes of a love I didn't appreciate until it was too late, and the stark, undeniable truth that sometimes the greatest betrayals are not acts of hate, but acts of profound, unforgivable weakness. The silence now is just me, and the crushing weight of my choices.